Hi everybody, I'm Tara.
Hi, I'm Chris.
From Crooked Row, and today we're going to talk about our elderberry bushes, or your elderberry bushes. And so every year you need to prune your elderberry bushes down, and if you don't, they can get pretty substantially out of control. And we've actually researched, and most elderberry growers literally prune them down to the ground every single year. Last year we left like a woody center to kind of give the tree structure, and it grew absolutely beautiful, didn't it?
It did.
Huge blooms, lots of fruit from them. It was such an addition to the garden. So I think that this year we're going to go ahead and try to prune all the way to the ground. They're about 4 years old, but stick in here because we kind of want to show you how you can make some money with this. Elderberries are so simple that this is such a good like little side hustle that you could do maybe at a farmer's market, on Craigslist, on Marketplace. There's lots of different things that you could do with this. But first things first, we'll prune and go step by step and kind of show you how you do this. So let's get started. So here are two elderberries. One over here is the second elderberry that were planted, and this one right here is sending up shoots. I mean, it's like its own tree. So they definitely will start to be a hedge if you would like for that. But so in the center you can see where we have substantially bigger branches on the inside. We're gonna go ahead and shear everything off. If you don't want to propagate or you don't want to sell or anything like that, just shear them off, burn your canes. If you do, I would say the cut that you make at the bottom, always make it at a slant, because you need to know what is the bottom and the top if you're going to propagate these. So Chris is going to get in there with some loppers. He's going to take everything down, but again, he's going to prune it at a slant so that we know which side is the bottom. So let's get started. Okay, we finished with the pruning, and now we are over at the famous spool table where we like to do our work, and I have filled these 4-inch containers with potting soil, just plain organic potting soil. And I'm going to show you how to cut each of these and create their own plants. I'm going to start 6, and I'm going to put 4 in the greenhouse, and I'm going to leave 2 outside. I'll explain that in a minute. But for starting in this soil, this is not the only way to do this, so stick around so you can see all the different ways to propagate this. But we're going to get started cutting and sticking this in the soil. Okay, so we have this branch is actually damaged somewhere along the way. Right here, it's a bend. But you're gonna look, so these are the little nodes that I'll be talking about. They're buds. Some people call them nodes, some people call them buds. What you want is at least one set here and one set here when you cut. So like, I'll give an example. So on this one, I would cut, and so this is the bottom, remember? And I know that because we slant cutted the bottom of everything. So here is, so this bud would be on the bottom. So a couple inches. So I don't like this almost feels a little hollow. So I'm not gonna do those 2 buds, and I'm gonna do these 2 buds instead. So again, these are the bottom buds. So I'm gonna cut it at a slant. I cut that at a slant. But at the top, just so there's no mistaking, I'm gonna cut this flat. Flat, slanted, okay? And then, so then I'm going to take this and my slanted side and just put this about 2 to 3 inches. Even if those buds go down, that's completely okay. And just pack the soil around it a little bit. Voila, that's done. That's all you have to do. So we're going to get to filling the rest of these, and then I'm going to show you a bulk way to do this if you want to start tons all at once. Okay, so we have pruned them all down to actual starts, like I showed you before. And so this pile is the pencil thin pile, and it's about 50. We have about 50 starts there. The very large ones, which I won't be using ones like these, but there's, what do we say, babe, 15?
Yes.
15, and the medium ones are 50. So I'm going to show you a quick way to, if you're not going to plant these in the ground, let me show you a quick way to sort of ensure that these are not going to go dried and bad. So let's get to that. Okay, so we finished all of that. I want to show you a very, very quick way. If you're not going to plant these in the ground, and let's say you want to sell them or you just want to propagate them later, you can do a super quick and easy thing that I watched a woman who goes to farmers markets, and so she starts hundreds of elderberry plants. And so what you do is you poke holes every few inches all over your bag, but you space them, you know, normal, and then you make sure your potting soil is wet. I mean, mine is almost always wet because it's so cold here. But then you just poke these down in those holes until you see that they're forming roots. And then you go, she does it because she doesn't want to waste anything. So she will go see that it's forming roots and then go ahead and either pot them up in a 4-inch pot, or I think sometimes when there's holidays, like she'll do a decorative pot. Sorry, I have to think of these things. And so she keeps them in her garage during the winter, and then she slowly like moves them out. So if you don't have a greenhouse, I mean, if I was going to do this, I'm not this year, I'm too busy, but if I was going to do this in mass like this, then I would probably keep them in the greenhouse, or like we're getting ready to, since I showed you already that we're potting up some and we're putting those in the greenhouse and leaving a couple outside, just because if elderberries are a kind of spring crop, I'll say, they're used to freezes and thaws, and they're very hardy. So I'm just curious how they'll react to just being in a little pot outside. We'll see. So this is an absolutely fantastic way. I mean, think about it. You could get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10. This way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, you can get 70 started right in one potting mix bag. I think that's a pretty cool idea. So the other way is if you have some that you are not ready to use yet, you will get a Ziploc and see how wet that is. Can you see that, babe? How wet that is?
I can see it, yeah.
That is what you want your inside to always look like when you're housing these. And so, like these, I've cut a little bit bigger than the bag, so I would have to, shave a little off to put in the bag. So, but I'll just take a couple, and you're just gonna drop them in a bag. And then to even further moisture, I mean, you don't want it moldy, but like you do want the inside of the bag to stay moist. And so you can just, either put toilet paper that has moisture in it, or toilet paper or paper towels, or wrap these in paper, like a damp paper towel, wrap them, get all the air out, and put them in your refrigerator until you're ready to use them. Some people say don't plant these out until the last frost. we've had luck. I mean, I don't, well, last year we planted them way before that, and we even had severe weather, like in March, I think last year. Ours were fine. So, but if you aren't going to be able to get to them, again, do this, put them in the refrigerator, and they'll store, I believe, for like 3 months. So this is a great way to stall off, and then you're ready when you're ready to go plant. But so we are ready to plant. We don't need any of these. So we're gonna go over and we're gonna let Chris be big and strong and plant some of these out. Let's get started. Okay, well there you have it. We have started our, I don't know, wall of elderberries going down our lane. And we actually have loads and loads to start in our upper field. We'll actually go ahead and film that when we do go, I mean, because that'll be hundreds of elderberries we'll be planting at that point. But we're gonna put our other ones in the greenhouse and leave a couple outside and just see how they do. And we'll just update you as they go along. If you have elderberry cuttings, it's so worthwhile to do this, don't you think?
Definitely.
And they're super easy to plant. It's not intensive at all, is it?
No, it's not. It's
Yeah.
not. And they're the great berries, super nutrition. It's great.
Yeah, they're sweet and sometimes a little grassy, but they're sweet. If you have 2 different types, the berries will be bigger. If you can get them fresh, if you have tons of elderberries, you can have elderberry syrup through the winter. You can freeze them. We froze them and put them in tea and all sorts of stuff. So elderberries are very versatile and super nutritious. So if we can start elderberry cuttings, anybody can. Thanks. Bye.